Tonight, I'm very excited to welcome back a former guest of the show, Mr. Sam Deron, who has signed with a new team. Sam, how you doing tonight? And before you start us off with the announcement, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on where you played in 2022, and then we'll get into where you're playing for 2023.
All right. So thank you for having me again back on. And so last year in 2022 season, I played for the Skyhawks. And I played in Belleville, Ontario. That was the first time that I ever went to Canada. So it was playing at a high level, but also playing in a different location and in a different country as well. So it was a weird feeling, but also a good feeling at the same time.
Definitely, I would say it presented some unique challenges to you coming from America. But without further ado, why don't you go ahead and fill us in where you signed for the 2023 season?
All right. So after talking over with my family, friends, and my parents, I've decided to return to the CJFL and play with the Ottawa Sooners this 2023 season.
Very nice. Congratulations, Sam. Super
you.
excited for you. And our special guest of the evening is Coach Kevin Ling, the head coach of the Ottawa Sooners. Thank you for joining us tonight, Coach.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me. And Sam, good to see you.
All right, good to see you.
So, Coach, I'm kind of curious, what drew you to Sam, and what do you believe he brings to your organization?
You know what? Obviously, I mean, I'll give you some history. I'm a defensive guy. I'm an old linebacker, and so I'm a bit of a big boy smash mouth football type of guy. And during this past season, when we played Sam's team, to a man, I mean, I talked to our offensive line and our front, and they always said, like that 99 is a bit of a problem. And so, it was something that we were aware of in during our games that, he was a strong presence in the middle. My mindset when it comes to defensive line, if I can get 3 big boys to tie up 5 big boys, that helps me and my linebackers and my DNs get free. And I was watching some of his film, and while we were doing our film review and seeing, some of the skills he had, the size he had, the quickness off the ball, to be able to react to split tacklers, to split double teams, to make tackles. So that was a good aspect that I saw. Now, it got even better when, I got contacted by his dad and to say, hey, you know what, we've looked at getting released from the Skyhawks, and we'd like to see if we can make our way to you guys. And so I had a bit of a chat with the dad, and then I spoke to Sam a bit and said, you know what, I think this might be a good place, because I knew at that point, he had been released and he wanted to go back south, and I wasn't sure if he was going to come back up here. But for him to having to come up here now and joining our squad, I think it's going to be a real big component for us, because as an organization, I took over the Sooners in 2021. I wear a couple hats. I'm not only the head coach, but I'm also the team president, and I'm actually the owner of the club. So I'm holding a few hats right now because I wanted to make sure that things ran right. And that being said, as we went through our first season back on the field after 3 years off, there was a lot of stuff and growing pains that we had to deal with. But we came from being a team that didn't exist anymore to being the number 4 team in the country at one point. And that was done purely by our defense. And for me, even though we made it to the playoffs for the first time since like 2016, we didn't end up getting the goal that we wanted to. So I had to look back in offseason and say, where are the missing pieces? And one of the biggest pieces for me is our D line, is making sure that we've got a good anchor in there to be able to help with our run stop. Somebody that can push pressure on and move that line of scrimmage back, which is a huge thing that I want to see this year. But also somebody that's got the determination to get better and the training. And I took a look and I watched some of his huddle video and stuff and some of his stats. I see from 1 year to the next, he's He's 270 one year. Now he's 315. Like, these are things that you're looking for in somebody that's really committed to the game because they want to get better and bigger for the position that they need. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, Sam, on the flip side of that, what drew you to Ottawa? What was it about the Sooners that you really wanted to play there?
So after returning to the States and training in New Jersey in the offseason, I was thinking of turning pro as, kind of going south and thinking about my options. But Coach Ling and his staff really impressed me with how they were building and wanted to take another year to develop under his system.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. So, Coach, I understand that you've developed a relationship with the Ottawa Red Blacks. How important do you believe the CJFL and the CFL's relationship with the CJFL is for the long-term future of football in Canada?
I could say it's essential because the CJFL as a league has been around for over 100 years. The Ottawa Sooners as an organization has been around since roughly around the 1960s. But during that period, there has always been a long-standing simpatico relationship between the junior programs and the CFL programs. For us, and especially in Ottawa, I could say probably with to a T that across the country, out of the 19 teams in the CJFL league, there are few teams that have the relationship that we have with the local pro level team. We're running skills camps right now. We have like 10 players that come out. We've got a relationship with a couple of the players that do training camps and stuff. So we've brought them in to help with some of the training that we're doing. We've got players that are going to be working with us on what we develop for some of our lifting programs, because they know what the lifting program that they use and what they need, and we want to translate it to our players. But the other part is that giving players an opportunity. I had a meeting just the other day with the general manager, the head coach of the Red Blacks, and the president of the OSEG organization that oversees the Red Blacks. And we had a great chat, talked about how we can build a better relationship, how we can build a better partnership, what that looks like, but also how does our organization assist the Red Blacks? Because we need to have a farm club mentality. We need to have a situation where our players come through our system and they have an opportunity to get access to practice roster shots. They get a chance to work out with some of these pros. They also get to understand the business of football, right? That one of the things that me and the GM were talking about is the expectation. I'm an expectation guy. I make sure it's clear to my guys. Sam knows this included. We want him to come to the team, but everybody's got to work. Everybody's got to bust butt to get better at what they do. But when you come out to these practices, you've got to take it. It's a professional attitude you've got to have. So if you want an opportunity to be able to get to the next level, then you've got to be able to think like a pro and act like a pro. Be on time. Don't be late. Listen when you're told to listen to something. So those are the big components that are important to us as an organization. And I think they made sense to the Red Blacks while we were having that discussion. So we've got some big things planned this year. Last year, with the relationship we were building, they had what they call the Legends Night. So we were able to. They brought some of our players on the field just before halftime, introduced us to the entire crowd. So now you've got guys that play junior football. They're now standing in front of 23,000 fans who are cheering and screaming and chanting Sooners. To make things even better this year, we are working on and hoping. We had part of our conversation is August 19th. We play the defending Ontario Football Conference champions, the St. Clair Saints. We play them at home, and we are working to play that game underneath the TD Stadium lights. Probably afternoon is more like it. It'll be a 1:00 afternoon game, and it'll be a doubleheader. So we'll play a game at 1:00, and the Red Blacks will play their game in the evening. So that's an experience that our players will never have experienced before. And now they'll get a chance to play a game. They'll get to stick around. They'll get to watch the game afterwards. And those are things that give them a better understanding of what this whole experience should be like.
Absolutely, I would agree, and it's a huge opportunity, like I spoke about before, for Sam and other men like him that are able to sign up there and develop as a player. And speaking of that development, I mean, Sam, you spent 2022 in the CJFL. How did it help you develop as a player heading into 2023? And how do you look to develop further in 2023?
So I decided not to go to college. So I needed a place to develop as a player and at a high level as well. So me and my father kind of brainstormed and looked up different leagues, different, places to go. And the CGFL gave me that opportunity. And in 2023, I want to become a dominant defensive tackle and help the Ottawa Sooners win a championship game.
I have no doubt you're well on your way after seeing the little bit of highlights we were able to scrape together last season. But my final question for you, Coach, is I understand you run a training company outside of being a coach and an owner and a president. Where can we find your company, and tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. And as my admin would like to say, I often have a problem saying no to things. So when it comes to this whole program, I actually run two full service fitness facilities in the city of Ottawa. It's called Power, Muscle, and Fitness. We have a location at March Road, which is in Ottawa. We have another location at Carlingwood Shopping Center. You could find us at powermusclefitness.ca is where our gym is located online. But the difference is that we are a lifting gym. We have a lot of heavy lifting, weights, plates, and just, it's just about hard work. So, we have an area that's dedicated to our football and our high performance training. We've got an area that we're finishing off that is going to be basically set up as a private area of the gym that will be focused on team lifting. So when we do our team lifts, our guys will be able to come in because, if I bring in my defense and even if I just brought in my linemen or my linebackers, I've got a bunch of guys that are going to be lifting and taking up rack space and stuff. So we identified a separate area that we can utilize, which in itself is probably as big as some other gyms. So we want to do that for people, and especially guys like Sam that can come up and just spend their time, lifting and getting better, because lifting wins. That's it. It's pretty simple.
Absolutely. So my final question for you, Sam, is, as we know, playing in the CJFL obviously means that you're going to be living in Canada, which you are a U.S. native, so this is kind of foreign to you. You're doing some fundraising to prepare for this. Where can we find your fundraiser, and how can fans help you in your journey?
So yes, last year I raised about half of what I was hoping. But thanks to my parents, friends, and family, I was able to get through the 2022 season. And this year I'll be launching a new funding page in a couple days from Make a Champ. I'll post that on all my socials when it goes live.
Absolutely. Just real quick, what are your social media accounts that we can find you on?
So it's going to be Sam Deron 99, probably for most of them, or just Sam Deron. I know the Instagram one is Sam Deron _ 99. Instagram was weird about that, so I had to put an underscore there for some reason.
Gotcha. No sweat. Coach, you already told us where we can find you for your company. Where can we find and help support the Ottawa Sooners?
Perfect. We're on Instagram at Ottawa Sooners Football. Basically, if you look up Ottawa Sooners Football, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram. I believe my girls have a TikTok that's out there as well. But that's primarily as our Instagram is our primary method of communication. And from there, I go by Coach Kevin. That's what the guys call me up here. So My Instagram is Cal's World 2020. It's my initials, but we're probably going to be switching that to the Coach Kevin moniker because it's gaining a lot more steam from what we're doing. So I think that'll be what we do going forward because this is I enjoy this game, but the best part about it, I enjoy being able to coach guys like Sam and help them hopefully keep going through life. So that's my role here. So I'm happy about it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm really excited for you, Sam. I'm also excited for you, Coach Kevin, because I know the hard worker that Sam is. I know that he's going to come in and do everything you ask of him to hopefully bring you guys a championship in 2023.
That would be great. I appreciate it. So as long as he's ready to work, I'm ready to
Always.
rest, man.
Always ready.
Absolutely. I can definitely vouch for that.
All right. That's great, man. Thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate you having us.
Absolutely.
With
that being said, everybody who joined us, thank you for watching. If you tuned in, make sure you share this with a friend, hit that like button, support the Ottawa Sooners, support Sam Deron and his journey, help him get to the professional level at some point because that's the ultimate goal for everybody who's playing football. With that being said, have a great night, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.